Why do I make art? Because I know nothing else in the world, and it makes me realise what I want to do. It makes me the happiest person. It makes me the best version of myself. And it's like eating food. It's like eating a really nice meal. But a nice meal that sets you up for like a week. It's incredible. It's an amazing feeling.
Because it's a form of self-expression, and if I want something that doesn't already exist in the world, then I'll just make it myself.
Because I don't know how else I would ever be able to express myself. I've had a few periods of time where I kind of lost confidence in my ability to make art.
Why do I make art? I make art kind of because I have to know. Feels really important, like eating food, it's like nourishing.
Maybe I make art because in a small way what I experience in a visual way I'm compelled to reproduce in art form. I think a lot of the need to produce artwork for me is connected with a formal art school training and working within the arts. I never question the validity of continuing to make artwork or produce it, and often feel anxious when I'm not working on some piece of artwork.
It's a really tough question. I don't know, it's just who I am, really. It's just intrinsically telling stories, I think, is just who I am. I can't really remember a time when I think back to childhood and, you know, the things I really enjoyed doing. It was always like putting on little shows, and it was essentially a very basic version of what I do now. I think it's just the way that I am.
I think there's probably a certain amount of my identity making me manufacture myself into an artist as part of my petty bourgeois upbringing. My dad always wanted to be an artist. I want to be an artist. I make myself an artist. But at the same time, I just kind of do it. So I think it's kind of manufactured, the idea of being an artist.
I really don't know. Not interesting or alive, probably.
I guess, I don't know, because I consider a lot of different things still an art form, but I guess in the traditional sense, if I wanted to do art, I'd probably do cooking. But I do see that as another form of self-expression. Most things where you create something, there's an art to it. That thing which everyone does, where you look in the fridge and you have to see what you want to make out of all the shit you got. It's a nice little challenge.
Well, originally I wanted to be a doctor, so I guess maybe I'd be a doctor. If I wasn't to make art, I would definitely be sad.
I don't know. I mean, that was something I was thinking about a little while back, because I just was finding it really hard to make ends meet. Things didn't seem to be working out. Like, I was making films every now and again, but like, you know, it's very hard to live when you're, you know, trying to build up your portfolio and trying to make a name for yourself. So I was starting to think about what else I might want to do and what might make me happy. The conclusions I came to, other than just working within the creative industry, you know, like facilitating, I'm very interested in the sex industry, looking at how it might change, how it should change, how we view sex workers, and, you know, the rights that they have and the rights that they don't currently have. So either that or maybe working with animals.
I would have been or had a career working with or within the natural world, gardening, garden design, on perhaps as a therapist, art or play therapist. I've never been comfortable with the title artist, and I think of myself as a printmaker and facilitator.
If I wasn't making stuff, and I think it's more like stuff, it's not necessarily art, you might call it design, you might call it decorative art, but I don't know, stuff to wear. If I wasn't making those things, I'd probably be a bit depressed. I'd probably feel a bit too sort of one-track minded, too much in front of the screen, too much in one sort of box, as it were. So the thing about making stuff is that I don't have anyone sort of telling me how to do it, so it's not like a job, although it's something that is financially useful. So it feels like there's much more freedom to it, which is nice.
I have absolutely no idea. I'm pretty good at talking to people though, so maybe an estate agent could sell them some houses.
I don't know. I don't think there's really a possibility that I wouldn't. I think it's just part of everyone's life, and even people that you perceive as not having an artistic outlet probably do. I think it's part of everyone. Art is part of culture. We interact with it, interacts with us. You can't help but do it. But for the sake of argument, like a bin man or something? Yeah, I don't know. Probably like a plumber, just something that would get me like good money.
Dee-dum. I think it's very interesting, the idea of originality, and the bit at the bottom that says attach an example of something you've created. The first thing I wanted to send was some writing, and then when you actually think about it, you're like, oh, this is actually totally unoriginal, but what does that even mean, I suppose? And it has an element of originality because it came from my head.
I think it's very true that there's this sense of justification, and I don't think that's necessary at all. I think it doesn't matter if someone's done a similar thing to what you've done, because you're doing it and you're different, so therefore it's going to be different. Yeah, I think if you're doing something, then it's different anyway, and people shouldn't be so obsessed with trying to be the same as everyone else. I think that's really bad as well. Or also, on the other side, trying to be too different to everyone else. It's just a bit of a waste of time. You should just focus on what are you.
I think, more and more people are sort of having this, it might sound a little pretentious, but this idea of portfolio career, where you don't start out at the beginning of your working life and do the same thing for the next 40 years, 50 years maybe, even longer. I've always thought of what I do as sort of multifaceted. I've learned lots of new skills, I've gone into different industries, so I think that the emphasis is on actually doing as many things as you like doing and mixing it up.
It is a bit ridiculous as well though, because it's something that everyone consumes. I think there's artistry in the way a fucking kettle works, you know. There's artistry in anything, and you can put it into anything, and it's almost a playfulness, or it's a thing that doesn't completely show what it is. It leaves the individual to make their own relations with it, so it feels ultimately more personal than a fact, you know. There is a disconnect with the main kind of world and the kind of art side of the world in terms of, I think, especially art art reflects the times, and so when the times are really weird and something new and something different, this is where the art will flourish. And will show you what happened.
A title for myself, I would say polymath. Or just move, Khosla.